What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Okay, let's get back on part two. Now this is part two. Before I finish with the story, though, I am going to say something about the Dracos themselves, that society, and that reptile king, and the Archons that are over them. Now, let's talk about the division, the chaos. They don't have hearts, so it's not even like the heart is closed. These are a barbaric creature. Now, I can't even call them people. They are a creature, and they are barbaric. Okay. Now, they are in a constant state of chaos, division, war, and fighting. Okay. Now, the culprit is that Bible. All right. This is what is teaching them to not be self-aware. They are not self-aware, so they don't know what they're doing. They are constantly looking outside of themselves, not only to judge and to condemn, but for quote love, which is not really love, is whatever, and validation. This is what these Dracos do. And they are down here mixed amongst individuals who are sold. Now, as it pertains to the gays, because we got to talk about the gays again, because they are a very important factor, because I'm going to get into that, but let's just say this: they make it all about sex. Somehow, some way, it gets twisted up, the love is gone, and they make it all about sex, which is where this gay shit comes from. Or the condemnation through that book, a book. Okay? Bear in mind that it is a book and just a book. Okay? So, let's finish with the story, child. Now, as Lilith, I had my fishtail. And I kept being hassled by that creature full of warts, ugly, definitely black. And at this time, although there was no classification for the races, I was white, my skin was white. Okay, I could have been classified as white. But this creature kept on hassling me. He was black, or brown, the color of brown, very ugly, skinny, scrawny. His hair was like cotton, gray. He was old, wrinkled, and warty. Now, let me go ahead and say my decrees and declarations surrounding this, because it's important. Now, I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of that ugly creature that kept on hassling me when I was Lilith, be removed, released, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Now, this creature was promising me all sorts of shit, okay, which really never came into fruition. Except for I traded my fishtail for legs and became social, which fuck you. I didn't need to become social because I was okay in the sea. When I say swimming at the greatest speeds, baby, I was swimming in that sea. Okay? And I was unbothered aside from this creature who kept hassling me. Okay? Now, I switched my fishtail for legs, and I become social with a bunch of fake motherfuckers I should have never became social with anyway. okay, which are the Dracos, these motherfucking Dracos. No heart, and under the control of Archons. So I lead the schools. This is where I become the leader in the schools, and I'm talking about everything. Pretty much like the occult schools. Here we have the celebrities. We have stardom. We have things of this nature. I'm not the ruler of all rulers anymore because I lost a lot of power, but I'm still running shit in some way. Okay. And then here we have celebrities. Some of the celebrities of today were around. Some of them were around when I was the ruler of all rulers, but then you had some who crossed over into the Lilith era. Okay, into the third chakra. And I'm getting Jamie Foxx. I'm getting Tom Cruise. Most definitely P. Diddy, because I had a personal encounter with Diddy as Lilith. Exchanging that energy, them black orbs that he was the carrier of in that lifetime, where he sucked out my life sparks and transferred that energy. It was Diddy. And I gotta tell you about the way, like, the energy was not the same. The way he act, like he's so hard and thugged out, bitch. Boo. No ma'am. Lame as fuck. He had the same kind of mouth and the same kind of head shape. He pretty much looked almost the same. Almost. But there was this lame factor to him. And it was like something in him that people knew that thing was in him. Okay, whatever that thing was that was inside of him. Now let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations surrounding this. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up, that got lost in the midst of Diddy, transferring them black orbs to me and stealing my sparks, are released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. And I also decree and declare that, of course, Diddy banished from my energy field permanently, forevermore, across all realms, timelines, and dimensions. Okay? So, this was a lifetime. Rumor and I were not particularly close. And by the way, he was going by the name of Adam in this lifetime. But we were not really together in this lifetime. Although, see, it was the illusion that we were born together, that he was Adam and I was Lilith. Okay? Still born first. Adam still came after me. But you had this brotherhood who was angry and upset that I was the firstborn, and that I did not submit to men, okay, and that I knew my worth, and that my power was my power, and not even Adam could do nothing with it. And this is because Adam was really one of them. Like, he was a part of that brotherhood, and he was a part of that draconian society. In any event, I was not with him in this lifetime. I was with, quote, a guy, here we go, Maestro. Andy is what his name was. I'm not sure if he's still alive in this lifetime or not, but in this lifetime, his name was Andy. Let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks that got caught up within the midst of Andy, not only in this lifetime, but any other lifetime, are released. Not only my light sparks, but every single soul fragment that got lost within Andy from this lifetime or any other, but especially up in Lilith, are released, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. So I was with this individual, Andy, this lifetime. Now, Andy was evil, but Andy did go all the way back to mother as the ruler. Andy was around when I was the ruler as well. He was just like a regular human. But here, that's when you had that brotherhood starting to form. Although again, they did not make an appearance until Lilith, because the ruler had to be weakened first, because she was nothing to play with. Okay. So in that lifetime, them black orbs came from Diddy, which further weakened me. And then we move into the heart, where I become the Gale, doing the divinations. And it's me and Arumala. We are together. And this is where you have. Oh no. Matter of fact, let's back up a little bit, because I forgot to talk about him stabbing me on that table with that hooked knife, as my soul essence had been sucked out of my body and placed into this fountain, which I am hearing be referred to the fountain of youth. So let's go ahead and say our declaration surrounding this as well. I decree and declare that any of my light sparks and or soul fragments that got caught up or lost within the midst of being on that table, of being stabbed by a woman on that table, and my light and my soul essence being sucked out, be released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay. Now, Arumala was only able to do this because of the black orbs that had already accumulated in my body. Otherwise, he would not have been able to affect me in any type of way. Because, again, he is not a divine being. He does not have that type of power. Okay? He has been sucking and stealing and siphoning my energy as an employee of Archons, as a helper for Archons. That is his expertise. Okay? So, we move to that Galleon lifetime, where we are both doing divination. And I'm doing something with the collective where I'm giving the collective energy, but no, I wasn't giving the collective energy in a healing way, because why would I have needed to do that anyway? The collective should have not been falling in the first place. It's them black orbs, okay, that is to account for the disintegration, okay, and for myself falling down the levels. As I fell down the levels, the new earths would fall down levels, and the people who inhabited the earth fell down levels as well. And it's only because of those black orbs that this was happening. I being the consciousness of the earth, and connecting I'm the connecting point for everybody on earth. Okay. So here we have this individual, and I'm talking about this individual constantly a predator. Now, I was sleeping with the enemy. Okay, this individual was filling me up. He was preying upon me and doing dark magic every step of the way. This is where you have Arumala in that room on his knees all night, every day and night, chanting and doing these incantations and spells and things of this nature. Okay, so let's go ahead, because see, this was only possible through that, if you want to call it a sacrifice, where he killed me as I lie upon that table. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of Orumula being a predator and stealing and siphoning my energy, be released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child, which is none other than myself. Can't nobody duplicate it. Can't nobody be me. I'm always me. Okay. Now, so I'm having sex with this individual, and it's black, being filled with orbs, being filled up with them. And again, I'm seeing checkerboard floors with this lifetime. My house, something about my house having checkerboard floors. I'm also seeing a room. There's some sort of room that we used to be in all the time. I'm also seeing the sun, and I'm hearing golden dawn too. So let's go ahead and say some decrees and declarations right now. I decree and declare any of my light sparks and soul fragments that have been caught up in that house that I used to live in, and go up underneath the ground and up above it, inside the house, go in every compartment, up in every room, up in every symbol, go up in a secret, hidden, hunt it down, find it, and bring every single one of my light sparks and my soul fragments to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay. So yes, I'm seeing the sun, but I'm seeing myself dressed as the sun, or somebody dressed up as the sun. I'm seeing myself in a gown. This is all me. All of that Masonic shit, it wasn't originally satanic. It was not. So, what the hell was I at? But you had this collective. Orumula was training the collective at that time. And I mean, many Draco, some of them sold, but not really knowing what they were doing. Okay? To steal the energy from me. So, not only was it black orbs, it was the collective that had started to steal energy through the eye contact, which Orumula was training them to do. So let me just go ahead and say this, because I'm going to probably make another video about that, knowing the difference between a motherfucking Draco and somebody's soul. But let's go ahead and do some decrees around this. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that have been covered up, that have been lost, stolen, by any of the collective at any time within any of the cycles of Earth across all realms, timelines, and dimensions. Released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. And I also decree and declare that I'm immune to the attacks of any and all Dracos and even sold individuals who are ignorant and don't know what they're doing. I'm immune to any and all attacks of that manner, where they use their eyes to steal light sparks or either fill the body up with black goo. I'm immune to that. I decree and declare it. Okay? So let's move on down to the coven leader. Now, no. We're gonna stay on the Gale for now. This is gonna be a long one, child. So it's probably gonna be a part 3. We're gonna stay on the Gale for now. Now let's go ahead and talk about my churn, because I had a couple of churn, actual churn, not just the soul, not just souls that I gave birth to, but I had a couple of children that sprung forth from my heart chakra. Now, these babies, these two beautiful babies, formed inside of my heart chakra, and when they were ready to be birthed, they came out of my heart chakra. Now, it's important to note that they were not babies. Now, they came out, it would seem as though they came out maybe the ages of 6, 7, 8, something like that. They were already about 6 or 7 when they came out of my heart chakra. And I know that sounds really crazy, but the mechanisms of birth then were different than they are now. The children most definitely did not drop up out of vaginas through sex. Okay? Now let's go ahead and say some decrees and declarations around this, my churn, okay, that were sacrificed by Oromula. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy and light sparks that got lost within the midst of my churn being killed, murdered by Oromula, any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got lost at this time be released. They are released, freed, and coming on home to the mother, the father, and the child where they belong. Okay? Now, this individual killed my churn. And around this time, there was this lady, this brown lady. I don't want to call her black because we did not have the classifications until we got down here. But it was a brown lady. And see, this is where these orishas start to come into the picture, along with this brown lady, around this setup that occurred at this time. Okay, the whole time Oromula is doing this dark magic. He is at this altar day and night, chanting and things of this nature, which is again where that praying shit come from. Let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up within this brown bitch during that setup are released, removed, and brought on back home to the one and only, the mother, the father, and the child in one vessel, myself. Okay? Now, this was a huge scandal. This led to a huge scandal, and I'm also picking up on something about the media. Okay, the media was but they were not even really around like that. It was very different. But I'm picking up on something about a whole bunch of people gathered up at my house, and for some reason it's reminding me of how these individuals were gathered up at my grandmother Dorothy's house down here. It's it's similar. Something about the energy of it is similar. Okay. Let's call our light sparks back from that. Well, let's just wait for a second. Let's talk about the torture in between this lifetime. Okay. Now, there was torture in between every single one of these lifetimes. Okay. And I was sitting down in some chair in some of these lifetimes while these creatures, they were in human form, were questioning me about certain things. However, it is worthy to note that I was under a trance. I was in some sort of trance or hypnosis while I was in between lifetime state. So let's go ahead and call our light sparks back. From just that alone, the torture in between these lifetimes. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up in between the torture, that got lost within the torture in between lifetimes, are freed, released, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child in one vessel, which can only be me. Which can only be me. So let's talk about this torture in particular. This torture in particular had something to do with, now I'm picking up on businesses, corporations starting to come into play at this time, but they see that they wouldn't make their mark until we got all the way down here. But that was the beginning of them starting to form these businesses and corporations. I'm seeing trademarks and things of this nature, who after this lifetime, or even like right there at the end of it, where I was in some sort of torture device where I was locked inside of it, and I had my eyes were pulled back, and I couldn't blink or nothing because they had my eyes pulled up, and I had to just let these individuals that walked by me, the individuals that walked, and they just walked by and looked into my eyes, and they were feeding off of the energy of that scandal. What Arula had did with my churn, which it had turned around on me. I was lied about. You know, it was a lie. It was a huge lie. And all of these businesses and corporations and things of this nature, trademarks and names, started to walk by me and look into my eyes and suck the energy out. Just like Arula had been, I had been doing with Arula with the collective. This is what they were doing after that lifetime. But they were feeding off of the negative energy from that lie and from that scandal that had been told. And all of that dark magic that Arula had been doing. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations surrounding this. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got lost during this scandal, during this torture at the end of this lifetime, where those individuals walked by me, where those businesses and those corporations and all of that, even if I ain't named them, we see them, we know what happened, be released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of the emotions, within the humiliation, within that embarrassment, are freed, released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Now, there's going to be a part 3 because we already too far into it. So there is going to be a part 3 and quite possibly a part 4 because we got more to talk about. Now, the point is that this has been a setup the whole time, and leading up to the formation of this world right here, this concrete world down here with that Bible, brainwashing the people, mind controlling the people, dividing the people, using that divide and conquer technique, okay, and the black orbs being responsible for creating all of the illnesses and especially the sexually transmitted diseases. And they made people extra sensitive about sex. They made it all about sex. It's all about sex. Because not many of you hearts are really open. Because there's a lot of trauma down there with them black orbs being down there. And y'all don't even know that they down there. Okay? But the main thing, though, was to take out the feminine using the AIDS virus to steal the body of the feminine, to steal the body, and then put that soul into a boy body. The way that they twisted that up and convoluted that, baby, woo, child. Okay, but we're gonna get more into it. There's gonna be a part 3 and quite possibly a part 4. There's a lot to unpack. Thank you. Bye-bye.